Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back in for another video today. Today I'm going to be reviewing some Fusion Extra Deck monster cards and a plethora of other stuff. So we're just going to get right into this. Starting out with Borreload Furious Dragon. This is a solo print ultra rare from Structure Deck. Rocket Revolt. This is a very new Structure Deck. Super cheap right here because it's still brand new. Deck's highly available. Less than $1. 5+ pages. This is pretty cool. Primarily wanted to create this video because of Super Polymerization and Insta-Fusion, and I got a couple selections that I'll dig into here in a minute. Still a really good card here. One thing that I pretty much feature in all my Super Poly builds is Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon. This has a really cool name. Doesn't really have any great rarities. There's like the Ultra Rare here and the Premium Gold. I really don't like it. That Premium Gold sometimes it kind of varies. I don't know. Some secret golds that look kind of good, depending on how dark the card is, and then there's like other pines. Like the majority of the times, it just looks really, really terrible. I don't really know what's going on with my internet. My internet is just running just garbage slow right now. My hard drive on this computer, I really need to get a new laptop because this computer is just god awful. A lot of my pages aren't even loading right now. Anyway, this card's super cheap. Relatively cheap. This is just gonna be disastrous for the video because I can't load anything. So we're just gonna move on here. Supreme King Dragon Star Venom. This is a pretty cool card. It comes in common and rare. There isn't a hollow foil list to my understanding. It's still a pretty cool card. Pretty generic. 2 dark pendulum monsters. Who lets one pendulum stuff? I thought that was a pretty. I'm just not a fan of pendulums, but you get a first edition here, and there's about 5+ pages, so it's kind of a spotlight really quick. Moving on, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, of course. This is one of my all-time favorite Super Poly targets, and it's just a great card in general. A couple different secret rares here. We're going to go ahead and try to take a look at the Invasion Vengeance. We're going to kind of move on. That's loading because the internet is just garbage right now. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm really going to be able to just really go into detail of prices because, as you can see, this trash. So I'm just going to kind of feature the cards, and unfortunately, I apologize, I'm kind of taking out some of the footwork for you guys, but you guys are going to have to go and actually see the price variation. But I just wanted to kind of show you, give you some ideas, and give you some name card choices. So Chimera Tech Fortress, pretty cool. It's an awesome tech card for siding for Cyber Dragon players. There's an awesome Dual Saga print. Of course, Shonen Jump Magazine is probably going to be like the most ideal one. Also super rare from Collector Tins. These two are definitely going to be the ones you want to go with. The Dual Saga one looks really nice and significantly cheaper than the Jump Ultra, so I would kind of prefer to go for that one, but the Jump Ultra is pretty cool too. Moving on here, the Last Warrior for Another Planet, really awesome card. Of course, the first edition original plants are like ungodly expensive for Labyrinth Nightmare Generation 1. Really nice. We just got an Ultra Rare from Dual Overload, which I'm really happy they made this. It's pretty cool because they made this card ridiculously affordable now. It was so expensive for the longest time because it had like almost no reprints, and this card is like ancient as hell. So really nice that we got this Ultra reprint in Dual Overload, so now it's a very affordable card. ABC Dragon, so I love ABC builds. I just love the deck in general. I think it's a pretty cool deck. And of course, this is a beastly of a monster. It's a 3000k beater, 3000 beater if I'm not mistaken, and it can do removal from the board on either player's turn, which is pretty legendary. You can, swap out your fusions. Moving on, the next card is going to be actual Instant Fusion itself. There's a Dual Tornado Ultra Rare. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's not loading my pages. This is severely frustrating. I can't even. The next card was going to be Sea Monster Theseus. This is mostly for collector's value, but it is a tuner if you want to go on a crazy synchro play. 1000 Eyes Restrict. Moving on here is a nice secret rare. So this is probably the ideal choice for a lot of players for the Insta Fusion targets. For me personally, I don't really. You can suck up a monster, but it goes away after one turn. So I kind of get confused on this play. But there's some really nice rarities all across the board. This is a very valuable card. Then you got ultra rare first editions from PSV Generation 1s, Master Collection 1, which is a really nice set. Secret rares are personally my favorite. Not really much. Can't really care much about any other ones. I think there's a super rare from. There was like a super rare from something. Maybe it was just the Dual Sleep promo, I guess. But these are pretty good value, so you can get some good sell value in this. Next card is going to be Gem Knight Strap Knight. Not a big fan of Gem Knights by any means, but there's pretty cool versions. Surprisingly enough, apparently the secret rare from Shadows and Valhalla is the cheapest, which is pretty interesting. There's also a dual terminal rare, which is really nice too. You can basically bust this out with Instant Fusion, and then you just get an extra normal summon, so you get another monster on board. 2 invoked monsters here. Again, they're level 5. Level 5, so instant fusion targets potentially. You have Raging here, and this is actually already up, so you can see it. Surprisingly, this card has gone up like crazy, and I don't remember it being this expensive. Do you guys? I guess apparently it's like nine-ish dollars now, so it's kind of interesting. Next one is going to be Caliga. This card is pretty cool. It's got some cool artwork too. And this is about $3-ish. Yeah, it's about $3 plus, and there's 5+ pages of this. Potential instant fusion target per se. Fiend Skull Dragon. This is super old from Legacy of Darkness, so LOD. Original first editions are going for a pretty good price point. I want to kind of feature this because this is more of a collector's card. Nowadays, there's only 2 pages left here on TCG Player. No first editions on the first page. First edition we get on the second page is going to be about almost 6 bones. And then it goes all the way up to $10. So I think this card has fantastic artwork. I love all these old school Gen 1 Dragon cards. And this is no any means. Dark Bolter is going to be the next card. So this is like a, I guess people say GOAT control format card. And that's why it's got some pretty good collectability. This used to be just a really good card back in the day. This effect was pretty incredible back then. And I'm surprised though, first editions are only about 3 bones, so this is still a pretty reasonable price point if you want to get GOAT stuff and you just want to get some old school Hollow Foils first edition from Gen 1. Moving on here, let's go into the next set of fusions, which is going to be right here. Dragon Nest, the Wicked Knight. So these are going to be more specifically for artwork. Of course, obviously they're level 5 or lower, so you can go into potential in some fusion targets if you want to. But these are mostly vanillas. I'm just really mostly featuring them because they're old school. Now, of course, this is Legend of Blue Eyes. So for a first edition print, you're gonna really drop some serious cash on it. There's 5+ pages, so you guys can kind of dig around for a first edition if you want to. My computer's running super ridiculously anti-speed right now, so I'm not going to try to reload this page. Really fantastic artwork in this, and of course this is a solo print and it's a rare from the first generation core booster set, which is Legend of Blue Eyes, so there's going to be great value in the first edition prints. Same with this card, really great artwork, solo print, rare, Legend of Blue Eyes, and just one of the very first really old school fusions, and about 5 pages left of that, so good luck trying to find some first editions. Same with Flame Ghost. Again, solo print, rare, Legend of Blue Eyes, and I think that's really cool artwork. And about 5 pages left for that as well, so you guys can check that out. Fusionist. This also came from Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, but there was also a print from OTS Tournament Pack 3. So there's a 1 reprint for this one, but I think this is fantastic artwork. Again, just another generic fusion, old school fusion, but has really cool artwork. Definitely has collectability value. Elder Entity Nest. So this has fantastic artwork, really cool effect too. It's actually used sometimes in Heralds. There's that Synchro, this card right here, where you can basically bust this out or drop this directly to the grave with, I want to say Extra Foolish Burial, or there's this card where you can drop a card from the extra deck straight to the grave. You basically play it, and I want to say it's Extra Foolish Burial. I'm not sure what. I have to look it up. I can't remember. You basically can drop this directly from the extra deck to the grave. Activates effect to send one from the extra deck, I believe, again. And you can send this card and you basically just do a destruction effect and get a Light Bearer in your grave, which can potentially be a Christia target and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, or Christia, I should say. Norden's going to be next, so this is banned as shit, but really cool artwork. I love the artwork on both of these, and they're both Megaton promo super rares, solo prints, which is really, really cool. It puts them pretty on their own merit alone for that. I really like super rare cards, and it's really cool that they only came as promos in these tins, and they have been printed since. And 2017 Mega Tins and the 2015 Mega Tins, man, that was 5 years ago and 3 years ago. So they've some great amount of time has gone. They still have not yet to get a reprint. So pretty cool, and they're still relatively cheap. And 5 pages left for Norton. Again, this one's banned. Ness is not banned, and I really love the artwork a lot. It's a little bit more expensive for her, and that's about 5 pages. So moving on here to one of the 2018 Megatins. This card's pretty cool. I never actually really read this thing's effect. But this is, again, also another solo print, actual ultra rare from the Megatins 2018, the infamously hated, probably the worst Megatin that, ever since the first one from 2014. And it's a pretty cool effect, though. You can pause the video, read its effect. It's pretty diverse, pretty cool. And it's got pretty cool artwork, too, and the name is pretty cool. I like swamp stuff. And a lot, 160, 600 people have these all across the board, 5+ pages. It's only about a bone, so it's kind of interesting. Next card is going to be Darkfire Dragon, kind of like the Fusionist. There's 2 prints. There's a short print common from Tournament Pack 3, which is ancient as shit. So, starts off the board for about probably $5 for just lightly played alone. And then the LOB Original Generation 1 rares, which are pretty cool too. Again, this is just collectability, mostly because I believe artwork. It just has really cool artwork, and it's just ancient. Rare Fish. This is a solo print from OTS Tournament Pack 3, and this is pretty expensive for no reason. It starts off for about 5+ bones apparently, and it's just a common, but again, it's from OTS Pack 3, and I don't know, but it's got pretty interesting artwork. It's like a fat lion looking fish thing. Moving on here to a kind of a plethora of random cards here. Pot of Acquisitiveness. This is how you pronounce this. Really cool card, a quick play magic card. Basically, you can target 3 remove monsters, shuffle them back. It could be your monsters or your opponent's monsters. Doesn't really matter. This is pretty cool. I play a lot of removal decks, and there's some things that you want to recycle, like your Dread Maju or your Necrofaces, a whole bunch of stuff that gets removed. And this does a really great job of that. And it's really great that it's a quick play because it makes it more diverse, more playable. And this card's oddly seeing a price increase. I didn't really think anyone really played this card besides me. Because it's definitely not a neg 1. It's a 1 for 1, but then you recycle 3. So in my opinion, it's definitely at least a +1 to a certain extent. And yeah, it's to this day Invasion Vengeance. I think was a 2017 or yeah, I think 2017 set, 2017-2016 set, and this is still a solo print, super rare. So only 1 printing available, and it's about almost $4. So this card was super cheap for the longest time. It was like 50 cents, half a dollar, $1. Now it's shot up all the way up to about $4-ish for the first edition. So 4 pages left for this card. Burial from a Different Dimension. So this kind of does the same thing, but it's not really as good in my opinion. It does the same thing, except it takes 3 monsters and puts them back in the graveyard instead of the deck. Obviously, I mean, this card I think is just completely superior to this. I just wanted to showcase this card because it's a super rare dual turn 3, which looks very nice. It's just a different play. It's a different play. There's no draw power on this one either, so I mean, as soon as this card came out, it does the same thing except it actually recycles them back, so we reused in the deck, and you get you get to even it out. You neg 1 by activating it, but then you +1 by drawing, so it levels out. This is really nice. So it does look really nice. For the longest time, I wanted this card before Invasion Vengeance came out, and this card basically rendered it useless in my opinion. But still a really cool card in general. It's about $5-6. Only 2 pages left for this particular version. Next card is going to be Dark Factory of Mass Production. This is a super old card. A couple different versions. This is going to be the original print common, dawning from Soul of the Duelist. It's basically like a salvage, but for vanilla monsters, for normal monsters, which I thought was pretty cool because I never really heard of any card come out before that did recycle factor for vanillas. It's got a really cool name, and it's got really cool like this Candy Factory assembly machine looking artwork. Super cheap, about $1 or $0.25 for first editions, and there is 5 pages on the market. Next card is going to be one of like the MVPs for the showcasing for this video specifically. This card is really fascinating to me because, as you guys probably know by now, I talk about it all the time. I love blending Shaddolls and so many different stuff. I blend Shaddolls with Dark World. I blend it with Lightsworn. I'm trying to blend it with, Dangers and just a whole bunch of stuff that like to pitch to the grave or go to the grave. And this is a really cool card. And I actually checked this into my new build. I haven't tested it out yet. As you can see here, I'm running the Ignis Project version of the online automatic dueling system, and that's really great. Props to the makers who made that. It makes the game a lot more accessible, and you get to playtest a lot more, and it's free, and it's really great. Anyway, this is a solo print rare from Savage Strike. Didn't come out too long ago, and this is just great. It's got draw power and its ability, and it's a continuous trap card. So just like Dark Smog, you can activate it on your opponent's turn. So you could be potentially plussing 1 each turn and popping off an effect in the grave if you're pitching your Shaddol cards, or pretty much your Shaddol cards is really what I thought about this card. So I teched in 1. Again, I haven't play tested yet, but I'm really excited to see what this card can do at 1. I think it's a really cool tech for your Shaddol blends. And if you guys like Shaddolls like I do, that why not try it out? There's a lot of cool walls too here. So like there's like these are a dime first edition. There's a 29 of, but the best one would be to go for, where was it? This guy right here, Sun Valley Gaming, because they do free shipping over 10, depending on what you have in the cart. But I'm probably gonna buy from this seller in a little bit, because I definitely want to get some of these cards, just because I think there's a lot of diversity in this card, and this card has really great artwork too. I love the artwork, and it's a continuous trap card. You can use it on your opponent's turn. You can use it on your turn, and it's really, again, it's a turbo card. Potentially, it's a slower turbo card, but you get a pop-off effect and draw 1, and it's continuous. It's pretty legendary to me. Mind Control is going to be next. So you'll kind of see a trend for the remaining of at least these tabs. It's all basically kind of swapping or taking control of your opponent's monsters. This is still a really great card. You can still XYZ with the cards. You can link with the cards. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it, and there's a lot of cool rarities. My personal favorite is the Gold Series 2009. This looks really nice. The super rare from Trials of Glory, the game promo, is pretty cool too. Not really a big fan of any of these other ones. I guess it came out in Dual Devastator. Cool. There's a lot of pretty interesting cards that came out in Dual Devastator. They definitely did a pretty good choices for the reprints for these all ultra rare sets. Unfortunately, they made them ultra rare, which is just, I'm just really not a big fan of ultra rare. I would have been a lot more excited. The only one I got excited about was Dual Power, because like that was the first one since Dual Saga, and I was thinking that Dual Power was going to come out with the Dual Saga, like kind of like lightsaber looking waving ultra rare rarities, and to much to my disappointment, they did not reproduce that rarity, but it's pretty cool because it makes Dual Saga that much more unique and valuable to me. But again, yeah, Gold Series would definitely be my choice for that. Next card is going to be Enemy Controller. A lot of awesome choices. My personal favorite would probably be the Dual Terminal 2. I believe these come out as rares. Really nice. And then, of course, you have the Ancient Sanctuary original ultra rares. Now, again, I always bag on ultra rares, but when it comes to like Generation 1 stuff like this back in the day, and I'm going to specifically justify myself here in this way, because back in the day, back in Generation 1, like Duel Monsters era Yu-Gi-Oh!, and at least for the first couple sets, all we had, the highest we could go was Secret Rare, So when you pulled an Ultra Rare, that was a really big deal. When you pulled a Super Rare, that was a big deal. For you new players, I don't know if you guys know your history or not, but the booster packs didn't always used to have a Super Rare in it. They used to only have rares. And pulling a Super Rare or an Ultra Rare was pretty tough to do. And then on top of that, if you pull a secret rare, that like back in the old school days, there's only 2 secret rares per set. So usually when you bought a box, I think the boxes were like 24 packs back then or something like that. They had, I think, 24 packs box and 36 pack boxes. And the 36 packs boxes are really cool. I think it was 36, I can't remember, but there was like these really fat, bigger boxes that were pretty rare. That were really cool. So pulling an ultra was really great. So again, I always kind of like use the example like PSV Goblin Attack Force, or Pharaoh Servant Ultra Rare Goblin Attack Force, first edition specifically. Those are like the ultra rares that I like, the old school collector ultra rares. This is actually going for a lot of money right now. If you guys want to look up the first editions, they're pretty good price point. Another really nice rarity is the secret rare updated rarity from Legendary Collection Kaiba. This is an amazing set. It's really cheap too. I have several prints of this myself, so it's kind of up to you. But I would definitely, probably because the original print first editions are just collector's value now and they're pretty high in price. Either go for the dual terminal rare or the secret rare here. Next card is going to be Brain Control. Now, I know this was banned for like the longest time and it came off, but I know it got errated. I don't really know what the errata is, so you guys are going to have to kind of dig around and look that up yourself, or maybe put it in the comments if you know. I'm not really good with the whole errata stuff. But this is the Ultimate Rare highest version, original print from Lost Millennium. This is like really expensive. First editions are running for about 55, and then it goes all the way up to 200. No one's going to pay this. This is insane. But of course, this is the highest rarity. I know there's like other rarities. There's like a secret rare and a super rare, and there's different, plenty of different rarities that if you're interested in this card, you can definitely get it cheaper with a rarity downgrade. Next card is going to be Creature Swap. I love this card so much. For the longest time, the original print Legacy of Darkness Ultra Rares for first edition, like they went all the way up to like $90, $80. Like they were ridiculously expensive. Not because it's like just like a completely blowout amazing card or anything, but more so just because it's a Generation 1 Dual Monsters era card, and first editions are just coming hard and harder, more difficult to find, especially in at least lightly played condition or better. And there just really wasn't any in the market. So I have one copy of these. I think it's like about lightly played first edition, and I'm holding on to it because, again, like these Generation 1 Ultra Rare or just Hollow Foils first editions, even like you can see LOB, like even the rares nowadays from like the Generation 1 sets are just for first editions exclusively are just going for like ungodly numbers. But people started to flood it with the market, and it's back down to about $15, but there's still only 2 pages left. So this is a really great card. I love the artwork, and I just really like the mechanics behind this card. There's a couple other versions too, like the Ultra Parallel, if I can say that. I really know how to say the rarity for the Hobby League. It looks really nice too, but you have to be careful because it was made by I think a different manufacturer or something. But the cardboard is just a lot thicker, and it bows. Like the Hobby League cards bow really bad too, so you gotta be really careful about that. Change of Heart. Nostalgic classic Generation 1 card. Of course, you have the original Ultra Rares from Mel Raiders, which, good luck trying to find a first edition. These in first edition are like ungodly, like expensive and hard to find. The last time I checked, at least. I really want to dip in and see what they're looking for now, but again, I apologize. My internet, and not really the internet, computer just running like crap. The Legendary Collection 3 UV's World Dawn is Secret Rare, which looks really, really great too. I've always wanted to get this updated Secret Rare because Secret Rare is one of my favorite rarities. It's always just been relatively expensive and just kind of always been at a price where I'm just not really comfortable picking it up. But the original print first editions and the first edition secret rares, those are definitely something to check out. Other stuff is just really common and stuff, so it's nothing really too much crazy. Snatch and Steal. Probably out of all these cards, these take control of your opponent's monsters cards, Snatch and Steal is my favorite. This has been banned forever. It came off the list for one format, and immediately after that format ended, it got right back on the ban list again. It got forbidden, so I was really upset about that. It's really sad. Of course, I want to go for the original Magic Ruler first editions. Apparently, I got some comments on a couple videos back. I was not aware that there was like a factory error of basically a run of first edition Magic Rulers, but it wasn't really Magic Rulers because the cards actually didn't say SRL. They said MRL, and I guess they were a European print. And but it was cool. Like I saw the video on YouTube, and it was basically they were opening up this first edition set of Spell Ruler, like the packaging and the booster packs themselves said Spell Ruler, but on the actual cards right here, it said MRL, and it was a European print, so it had the little like echo, little E, of course. And they were first, so like it was like technically they were first edition Spell Ruler, but it was like a factory error and like a transition point, so they really weren't because they didn't actually say SRL first edition. It was Europe print MRL. but they were first editions. They were just put into the packaging that said Spell Ruler, which was kind of interesting. So yeah, that was kind of a cool little story to find out. So I thank you for that person who commented and kind of made me aware of that, because for the longest time I'm trying to figure out, like, Spell Ruler came, it was like the lawsuit and the history behind it, and Konami had to change the name, and I just always thought the set was, a rerun set, so that's why they didn't have first editions, which to this day still sounds pretty true in my opinion, because it really was just the packaging that said Spell Ruler as opposed to the actual card saying SRL. It was MRL. But anyway, enough said about that. Still really, really cool knowledge. So happy you got to get some education on that and saw a great piece of history with that. So yeah, ultra rares from MRL would be my ideal choice. I have a couple Dark Beginnings, which unfortunately I don't think Dark Beginnings, because yeah, like Dark Beginnings and Dark Revelations, they didn't never had that I've seen either, unless it's some like Dark Mystery. I've never seen first edition runs of Dark Beginnings or Dark Revelations or anything like that. So just a really, really great card. I really hope it comes unbanned and does not get errated, because this card is just too legendary for that. Right, moving on here to some XYZs. These are all rank 3s except for this one, Baguska. This card is really great. No one really plays this card, and it's a really good generic level 4. I would personally go for the original super rares from Circuit Break, but of course we saw a dawning of 2 ultra rares here, so I mean it's completely up to you. But I would personally go. It's the cheapest one, and it's the original print, so. Even though it's a rarity upgrade with the ultras, I would still go for the original print. Super first editions. Acid Golem. This is like a really old school level 3 play. Some people would play this with like tour guide and stuff. I remember this originally came out of a Jump magazine promo right here, which is still really cheap. And then it got a common and super rare reprint, which are just garbage. Go for the ultra rare Jump. I mean, it's safe to say eventually that all Jump cards, hold some kind of value for collectability. So Stelio is going to be next. This card is banned. It's a solo print from Structure Deck Soul Burner. I actually invested pretty heavily in this because common Ash Blossoms still to this date are like almost $10, or at least the last time I checked, they're about $10. So literally the common Ash Blossom covers you for the whole price of the Structure Deck of how much it was when the deck actually originally dropped, which is pretty funny because literally like the super rare ashes are like $10 now too. I think from, what was it, Shadows of Valhalla, I think it was. But anyway, the commons and the super rares are like the same price, so it's kind of, I don't know how that works out. Like, why would anyone get a common over a super rare? But it is pretty cool that's holding a pretty stable price point, because I bought 3 cases of this Structure Deck sealed first edition for moments just like this. I knew that it was going to go up because this was such a popular archetype. People were really excited about this, and there's really great history behind this deck. And again, this card's currently banned. Oh, it's a solo print, and it's a really big deal, but this is an amazing card, and I think it definitely has potential. I'm an avid believer that everything comes off the ban list eventually, and this is going to be the original print. I'm sure we're probably going to get some higher rarities in the future, but this is going to be the original print, and kind of just like, yeah, it's pretty good. Totem Bird is going to be next. I kind of forgot about this card. It's kind of out of date. It's a little bit slower, but it's got a pretty cool negation effect. Original secret rares coming from Lord of Tachyon Galaxy, which apparently are under $1. I mean, you guys will have to check it out for first editions. And then there's, of course, the 2014 Megatins. This has really cool artwork, and back in the day, this was like a really big deal. It's a little bit slower now, a little bit slower negation kind of control, but still a really cool card. Next card is going to be Ghost Trick Alucard. I'm not going to go too much into this because there's, I think, a plethora of other Yu-Gi tubers that have reviewed this pretty highly. But this, I just had to do it because it's a level 3. Of course, this is the ultimate rare version, and it's seeing a pretty good significant price increase. It starts off at 14 and then just continues to just go up after that. It goes all the way up to 25, still on the first page, and then there's only 3 pages left of this. Really cool artwork. You can't see it at all. The actual real, like, in-person Ultimate Rare looks really, really nice, but this picture just does not do it justice at all. It looks really terrible. You can't even see anything here. Next card is going to be Tri-Edge Lavia. This card's really cool. It came out of Premium Gold as a Gold Secret Rare, which actually looks pretty cool. Again, like I kind of feel torn. There's some Gold Secrets that look really good, and then there's like other ones that just look super really bad. The name looks really bad. The following of the name looks really bad, but the actual artwork itself sometimes looks pretty cool. And then of course like the battle pack stuff. I really never got into the battle pack stuff at all, but it kind of reminds me of like the Shadow Foil dual terminal, so that's kind of cool, I guess. A really cheap card. Its effect is kind of interesting. I believe it takes 3 level 3s, but it's also Sea Serpent and Water, so that's kind of what kind of drew me to this card. So you guys can take a look into that later if you guys are interested. Number 48. So this has got to be my MVP for artwork. I love the artwork for this. I didn't even know this card existed. And when I found this card, I was really excited because I love the name, I love the artwork. Its effect isn't like too like crazy, but it's a zombie. It's a rank 3. It's a dark, and it's apparently it was a short print, I guess. I mean, who knows? But Primal Origin unfortunately only came out as a common. I think it would have been a lot more desirable if it would have been at least a super rare. This card is such beautiful artwork. I really wish that we would maybe hopefully in the future. I mean, no one really talks about this card again. I didn't even know this card existed until I was doing research for my content and I found it. And this is just a really cool card. Lay of the Trees. So I've been talking about this card forever. I always thought this was a really cool card for plants, and it's starting to see a little bit uptick in price increases. You can see here, and I guess you're going to want to compare the reprints to the original prints. If it's not too much of a varying price difference, obviously you're going to want to go for the original print first editions. Gorgonic Guardian. Do you guys ever remember, depending on if you guys are like 90 babies or not, but there was a movie called Small Soldiers that came out, but I think DreamWorks produced it or something, and I like loved that movie to death. Me and my cousins watched the shit out of that growing up in Michigan in the 90s, and we loved it. And there was a PS1 game that came out, and like normally like PlayStation games for movies. I don't know, back in the day, like in the 90s PlayStation 1 era video games that were made from movies were actually really, really good. And we loved the Small Soldiers PlayStation 1 video game. We played that, like, it had, like, a multiplayer mode and, like, a story mode, and, like, it was just, like, the music was really cool, and, that was, anyway. The Gorgonites and the Commandos, and I thought of, like, Gorgonic, and anyway, I thought of Archer, but this is ugly as shit. It has terrible, terrible artwork. Its effect is pretty cool. It's rock based. I think it takes 3 level 3s if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember. Just terrible artwork, but its effect is kind of cool. So you guys might want to check it out if you're trying to build some rock decks down the line. MX Saber Invoker. So this card used to be the shit for the longest time, and then of course it got banned. This is just a generic summon special one out of your deck. Really, really cool. This is the original print. There's 2 secret rare versions. This is the original prints from Order of Chaos. Just really cool set. This is the set that we've done in Sector Monsters, which I really like that archetype a lot. This has been slowly going up in price. This card used to be like $1, a half dollar, like pretty much all across the board for first edition prints of this original secret. And I was picking it up left and right because I think that this card's going to eventually come off the list, and it's still going to be really, really good. It's just a generic search summon. And it's about $3-ish now. So it's not incredibly high by any means, but it's definitely increasing a little bit. I wouldn't say too much to be like significant, but there's 5+ pages, so that's something you guys can look at. Again, that this card is forbidden. It is banned currently, so just be aware of that. Same with this next card, Wind Up Cure Zen Mighty. This card is amazing. Back in the day, I think it was in, I want to say maybe, I guess maybe early 2012 or so. This card was great. There was a wind-up loop. There's this infamous wind-up loop that just annoyed the shit out of everyone. It would just, pitch your whole hand and you basically lose. And it was pretty crazy. This card, I've always wanted to get this card. I think I only have like 1 or 2, and I think one of them is on Limino. Like, one's not even first. I think I have 1 first edition of this. They're gone all the way up to $20, and there's only 2 pages left for the first editions. Again, there's other prints, but this is really just the Ultra, like one print, the Ultra and the Ultimate Rare from the same set, Order of Chaos, which is really old now. Another thing I want to look at really quick was Rat. So Rat was really, really key for the combo back in the day. And if I'm not mistaken, this is still is to this day, and Order of Chaos is really old now. Again, this is like almost an 8-year-old set now. It's still a solo print. So I picked up tons of these first editions. Just on the sheer fact that if this combo ever like sees the light of day again, which could potentially could, Hunter as well. I think Hunter was a big part of the. It was actually like the ignition, or kind of like the actual. I think it was the one that actually rips him out of the hand. I don't really remember. I didn't play the deck back in the day. It was really expensive, and for me, being a new player back into like just trying to get used to synchros, and then we got XYZs and all these crazy shenanigans. I just really wasn't interested at that time as I am now, or more so as I am now. And this is about $3-ish, pretty much $3 across the bone for first edition. So I think this might be a pretty good investment, as well as the original first edition secret prints of Rabbit and Shark, and pretty much all of it. Like the windups in general, I just really like the windups archetype in general. So that could be potentially something you guys want to look into. Next card is going to be number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. This is like really expensive for some reason. I know a lot of people talked about this last year, and it had a lot of hype, and there was, I guess, some pretty crazy shenanigans or combos that people used. Like number 86, I love this guy. I like, he was like perfect for samurais and for Satellar Knights. I'm a giant avid Satellar Knight player. Unfortunately, it's banned. There's a Prismatic Secret Rare that came out of World Superstars. It's really cheap. I would definitely go and check that out. Pick up a couple copies of that for yourselves. And it starts off at $18. Only one page left, so I guess there's just limited quantities. Maybe that's why it's going up. But I really don't think this effect is super blowout. You mean you can augment effect to make it turn into a Dark World Dealings, and each draw one, which is pretty cool. But and it's still a solo print, so maybe that's another contributing factor. Next one is gonna be Dante Traveler of the Burning Abyss. Of course, you have Duelist Alliance original secret rares and the Mega Pack 15 secret rares. Which again, I think like there's a lot of like the Megatins and the original print secret rares tend to have like an offset secret rare. Like the secret rares are kind of different, where like you can kind of see it. May just be the pictures, but some of them are actually in the actual cards. You can see the difference. It seems like the reprints ones seem to be a little bit more predominant and heavier on the secret rare foiling as opposed to the original prints. But of course, the original prints being the original prints, they hold a little bit more value and collector's value and price point in general. But you just have to compare here. It looks like the reprint one is significantly cheaper, so that might be the more healthier alternative. This is a really cool card too, though, because it's not just for Burning Abyss. Like you can use it for Shadalls, you can use it for Lightsworn. It's just a really good card to turbo through your deck and kind of just get your effects off in the grade. The last card I want to talk about here is number 26, Spaceway Octo Bypass. This card has some really kind of funky artwork. I don't really know what's going on here. It's got like a nebula under its tentacles, and it's all spacey and kind of crazy. It's psychic too. Pretty cool effect. If you guys want to pause the video, read it here. Solo print from Battles of Legends Heroes Revenge. And really cheap all across the board. Definitely plenty on the market. 5+ pages. But just wanted to showcase this really quick. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you guys learned something you can take away, make your own investments. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. And, I hope you're having a fantastic day. And you guys are making some solid investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican. And forgot my line. What is my line here? This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video. I apologize. My mind is all scrambled right now, so you guys know it. I'll get it right in the next video.